You covered, as a young man, you would have been watching the Korean War, and you covered the Vietnam War, and you particularly covered the relationship between the White House, the commander-in-chief, and the wars. Can you give us, over that sort of 60-year period, any comments on how that has changed? If Richard Nixon were our president today, or Lyndon Johnson, and we had the Vietnam War, would things be different now, right? Is there some arc of transformation or historical perspective that can help us understand the commander-in-chief today?
Well, one of the things we learned out of the 1960s and the national agony of the Vietnam War, it was driven home to me then and has been accentuated in the years since then, is the absolute necessity of there being a high degree of communicable trust between the leadership and the led. Now, for a lot of reasons, that trust was splintered during the Vietnam War period. And you talked about the arc since then. There's been a steady diminution of the ability of any president, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, mugwump, whatever, to establish that high degree of communicable trust that we had before the 1960s, and we've not had really since. Some presidents have been better at it than others, had more success than others. Ronald Reagan did convey a sense of communicable trust. We're not talking about his policies, but that. Bill Clinton, who pound for pound may be the best retail politician that I have covered at that. But I think that's the most important lesson in going forward with our great expectations for the future, is how to reestablish that communicable trust between the leadership and the led. The belief that if the president says something, that you can count on it, that you can trust it. Now, the current edition of The Economist magazine talks about something that I don't think the quote's original with The Economist, the post-truth politics era, post-truth politics era, and talks about how not just in the United States, which is the focal point now because of our presidential election, but generally speaking, that we've moved into an era where it's being proposed that truth no longer matters in politics. Now, if you're talking about in our system of government, a constitutional republic built on the principles of freedom and democracy, it's absolutely essential, it's imperative that you have this communicable trust between the leadership and led. But we have had for well now over half a century a diminution of that. And now we've reached the point where even some of the most respected public journals are talking about we're in an era of post-truth politics. I certainly pray that's not so.